Chapter 1. A Royal Indulgence. Queen Velis of the Zalathian Dominion had ruled for 3 centuries, her silver-blue skin shimmering under the twin suns of her homeworld. Immortal, powerful, and bored. When her flagship, the Obsidian Dawn, made an unscheduled stop at the human colony of Epsilon 9, it was meant to be nothing more than a diplomatic formality. The humans were primitive, their technology laughable, their lifespans fleeting. But they were interesting. That night, in the neon-lit underbelly of the colony, she found him, Cale Renner, a smuggler with a sharp tongue and sharper eyes. He didn't grovel. He didn't fear her. And when she offered him a night in her chambers, he smirked and said, "Better be worth my time." It was. She left at dawn, amused, never expecting to see him again. Chapter 2. The Unthinkable Consequence. 5 months later, the royal physicians confirmed the impossible. "Your Majesty, you are with child." Velis's blood turned to ice. Zalathians reproduced once every 1,000 years, and only with their own kind. A hybrid was unheard of. A half-human child. It was an abomination. She considered terminating the pregnancy. But curiosity stayed her hand. What would such a creature become? The child was born under a black moon, a girl with violet-tinged skin and human warmth. Velis named her Lyrian, a word that meant accident in the old tongue. She handed the infant to a silent servant. "Raise her in the outer spire. Let no one know of her existence." Chapter 3. The Secret Princess. Lyrian grew up in shadows, unaware of her lineage. She was taught combat, science, and languages, but never why. At 16, she stumbled into the throne room during a royal assembly. The court gasped. Velis's heart lurched. The girl had his eyes. "Who is she?" the nobles demanded. The queen's voice was steel. "No one of consequence." But whispers spread. The queen's bastard. Half-breed. That night, assassins came for Lyrian. She killed 3 before fleeing into the stars. Chapter 4. The Smuggler's Legacy. Lyrian found her father on a derelict space station. Cale Renner was older, grayer, but his grin was the same. Well, didn't see this coming. He told her the truth about her mother, about the Zalathian throne, about the war brewing in the galaxy. "Velis won't accept you," he said. "But that doesn't mean you can't take what's yours." Chapter 5. The Throne of Blood. Lyrian returned at the head of a rebel fleet. The Dominion was crumbling, its people tired of a queen who ruled without mercy. The final battle raged in the skies of Zaleth. Mother and daughter clashed in the throne room, blades singing. "You should have killed me," Lyrian hissed. Velis's face was unreadable. Perhaps. In the end, it wasn't strength that decided the fight, but choice. Lyrian lowered her weapon. "I don't want your throne. I want you to see me." For the first time in centuries, the queen hesitated. Then slowly she reached out. The Dominion held its breath. Epilogue, a new dawn. Velis abdicated. Lyrian ruled not as a conqueror, but as a bridge between 2 worlds. And somewhere in the cosmos, a smuggler laughed into his drink. "Damn. My kid's a queen." Choice. Lyrian's blade trembled in her grip. The throne room was silent except for the distant hum of dying starships outside the palace. The scent of ionized plasma and blood hung thick in the air. Velis stood before her, regal even in defeat. The queen's silver-blue skin was marred by a deep cut across her cheek, a wound Lyrian had given her. "You should have killed me," Lyrian repeated, her voice raw. Velis studied her daughter, really studied her, for the first time. She saw Kale in the stubborn set of Lyrian's jaw, in the way she held herself even when exhausted. But she also saw herself, the same fire, the same refusal to break. The queen exhaled long and slow. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "I know." Her fingers uncurled, and her weapon clattered to the floor. Lyrian didn't move. Was this a trick? But then Valus did something no Zalathian ruler had ever done. She knelt. The abdication. The court erupted. Gasps, shouts, the scrape of armor as guards hesitated. No one had ever seen the queen bow. "You are my blood," Valus said, loud enough for all to hear. "And you are his. That makes you something this empire has never known." Lyrian's pulse roared in her ears. This wasn't the plan. She had expected to fight to the death, to tear the throne away by force. "Nalis," Valus continued, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "The Dominion is dying. We have ruled through fear too long." She lifted her gaze, and for a fleeting moment, Lyrian saw something like regret. Perhaps it is time for something new. The silence that followed was absolute. Then, from the back of the hall, a single voice shouted, "Long live the Queen!" Others took up the cry, "Long live Lyrian!" The coronation. 1 week later, Lyrian stood on the balcony of the obsidian spire, the twin suns rising behind her. Below, thousands of Zalathians and humans cheered. The coronation had been rushed, chaotic. Not everyone accepted her. There were still factions that whispered half-breed in the dark. But for the first time in generations, there was hope. Valus stood at her side, no longer a queen but an advisor. "They will test you," she murmured. "The nobles, the military, the old families. They will see your humanity as weakness." Lyrian smirked. "Good. Let them underestimate me." Valus almost smiled. "She is mine after all." The message. Deep in the lawless fringe of the galaxy, Kale Renner sat in a dim cantina, watching the coronation broadcast on a flickering holoscreen. The bartender squinted. "Hey, that new queen kinda looks like you." Kale took a slow sip of his drink. "Nah, she's prettier." But as the screen showed Lyrian lifting the ancient crown, a fusion of Zalathian steel and human iron, his grin faded into something softer. Pride. He tapped a command into his wristcom. A single message, encrypted, sent directly to the new queen's private channel. "Don't screw it up, kid. The reign begins." That night, Lyrian walked the palace gardens alone. The weight of the crown was strange, but not unbearable. Shadow moved. She tensed, until she saw the familiar glint of silver blue in the moonlight. Valus joined her, staring up at the stars. "You will change everything, won't you?" Lyrian nodded. "Yes." For the first time, Valus looked at her daughter not as a mistake, but as the future. And for the first time, Lyrian looked at her mother not as a tyrant, but as a woman who had finally chosen to do better. Together, they watched the dawn break over a new empire.